a lot of us have probably had an experience some stage where we have felt a little bit further from God in some way or another, and someone has encouraged us, someone has been praying for us, and often it's the grandmothers and grandfathers praying for us that can be part of rekindling our faith and that encouragement to happen. Now, what's today? What else? Yes, what else? First session of church. Yeah, I'm glad I prompted Judy beforehand. It's International Day of Older Persons. But I was telling Judy that there was a thing on the radio this morning, just get my tongue out of my cheek, that said that next year they're talking about only doing half a day because they thought it was too taxing to have a full day for those of us who sometimes find we need a nap in the afternoon. International Older Persons Day. I was looking it up, and I found a couple of things about being older that I thought were impressive. I'm not quite sure what stage you get called old or feel old. I always think it's someone who's older than me, but anyway, that's been a consistent pattern throughout my life, I reckon. Happiness increases with old age is one of the blurbs they had on the website about this. So there you go. According to a recent study, most people are happiest in youth, and then once they reach their 70s and 80s. So it's the bell curve in reverse. Most people reported they were at least happy in middle age, but in older people it was a higher percentage. So why do we have International Older Person Day? It's to remind the community of the important role that older people play, isn't it? You know, back in the days gone back when we had wood fires, Mac, we wouldn't have needed to have had an International Older Persons Day because it was about respecting the views of your elders, wasn't it? And there used to be a bit of a rule back in the old days where if someone was older than you, that they probably had more experience and were probably a little wiser than you. And that with older age came wisdom. And we've lost sight of that a little bit, which is why we need to remind people of the wisdom and the life experience that older people have, and the importance of being able to share that life experience with other people. A reminder to older people of what they have to offer, but to other younger generations that they can listen and learn from some older people and get to know them and their life stories, because you will learn something. It's almost like rekindling people's passion for older people. Because the danger is that we get so focused on, particularly in our culture, on being young, that we miss out on some of that wisdom and some of that life experience because we're too busy rushing around trying to be young, look young, feel young as a culture. So that's what Paul recognises in the church that he's writing to, where Timothy is, that they are struggling and losing some of them are turning away from the faith and needing to rekindle their faith. And Paul is encouraging Timothy to be the one, because of his life experience, because of his faith experience, but also because of the gifts that God had placed in Timothy. That God wanted Timothy to rekindle and use those gifts to share with others and help people to reconnect with their faith. A good encouragement, a reminder for us today of God's call for us to share our faith with others. But the disciples we're asking, increase our faith, and asking Jesus to do that. But see, faith isn't something that you can just go along and put a fire underneath and boil the water up a bit and the pressure builds up and you get steam coming out. It's not like that. It's not about just putting energy in. It's about actually being able to willing to step out in faith, to exercise that faith, to be able to do something that we wouldn't have done otherwise because God is calling us and asking us or prompting us to do that. Thomas Groom wrote some things about faith and practice. And one of the things that he said about faith and practice is that both go together. Our faith, we don't learn faith independent of the exercise of our faith. It's got to be consistent with the way we live our life. The way we live our life is the outworking of our faith. And if our faith is being expressed in our words and in our actions and stepping out in faith, then faith will grow within us. And then we will have experience of exercising faith that we can share with others. Who is it today, in this coming week or today, that God will be prompting us to share our faith with? To look at where they are at and listen to what God's prompting is saying to us and how might we encourage them in their faith journey.